Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) says in its effort to end systemic corruption in the public service, it has been able to block unspent balances of 42 billion naira in 2019 and 147 billion naira in 2020. ICPC, which was represented by one of its director, Bakonatan, made these revelations at the inauguration of an investigative hearing on the high levels of corruption and nominal roles and over-bloated head costs in the MDAs.
We were approaching it from what we call a system review. A system review is designed, is not targeting anybody. We are targeting the systems. If we see holes, we block them. And so what we now did was, in 2019 alone, we blocked unspent balances to the tune of 42 billion naira across the service. And that 42 billion naira was taken back into the treasury and subsequently used. In 2020, the amount was 147 billion unspent balances. And because of this activity, what we have done since then, working with the Ministry of Finance, we have had several circulars issued. We have had quite a number of reforms put in place.
The Chairman House Committee on Anti-Corruption, Honorable Nicholas Garba, says the investigation became crucial to sanitize the MDAs against corruption and to ensure funds allocated to them are judiciously utilized. He, however, decries the low attendance of heads of MDAs, and after consultations with members of the committee before adjourning, summoned them.
The issue before this committee is a very monumental and very, very serious, which has even received the attention of the President and Commander-in-Chief, as it was pronounced at the National Conference on Anti-Corruption, wherein the chairman of the ICPC drew attention of the country to the monumental corruption that is perpetrated by ministries, departments, and agencies through their nominal role. It is against this background that the House passed a resolution through which this committee was mandated to carry out a detailed investigation into the practices and procedures for recruitment and, of course, for the determination of the nominal role of the ministries and agencies.
Other members of the committee were also embittered, describing the absence of the heads of MDAs as a disrespect for the legislature.
We're talking about MDAs. What is the size and the number of MDAs we have in Nigeria, and what is the number of attendants here? I'm not even talking about whether the chief executives are here or not, but the attendance is very, very, very bad. The number of MDAs we have in Nigeria compared to is less than 0.00001 attendance here. So in my view, Mr. Chairman, this public hearing has to be adjourned, and we sent a serious letter to all the MDs to ensure that they are here.
We're all aware on the importance of this public hearing, and especially as a result of some of the background investigation that have been ongoing even from the House and revelation from the ICPC, and again, the public endorsement by Mr. President that this should be taken very, very seriously. And to me, with the exception of the important information given to us from the ICPC, whom will technically are partners of the House in this investigation, the agencies that are supposed to be here to make presentations, I support my colleagues that we are not taking anybody less than the heads of the agencies.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, who was represented by the Majority Leader, Honorable Alhassan Adodogua, says the importance of the investigation is to ensure a civil service that serves Nigeria well.
The civil service is the permanent government. The men and women who make up its numbers play essential roles in ensuring the government's smooth and continuous operations from one administration to the other. This high responsibility carries with it the expectation of probity and professionalism, to the extent that the actual numbers of personnel who make up the civil service are inflated or populated by persons who ought not to be there. It is a matter of grave concern and deserves the most urgent response. Just like the Speaker said in his speech, will provide us a guide on the floor of the House to come up with the remedial steps to be able to really cure some of these systemic and institutional problems that are embedded in our democracy.
Meanwhile, the hearing was adjourned to a later date for proper information and documentation to aid the investigation process. Annie Tipatri, Call TV News.